The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. He talks about the drifter. In life, as men, we must either have definitiveness of purpose or we will drift through life trying to attach our belly button, our umbilical cord to everybody's belly button. So all these young men that are drifting through life and trying to attach their umbilical cord to the belly button of Andrew Tate. Nothing wrong with Andrew Tate. I think he's a marketing fucking genius.
Oh, yeah.
He has so many brilliant things to say. However, the devil will tell you that the drifter drifts for these three reasons.
There's something else I want to kind of rewind to in terms of your younger self. You talk, we got to kind of go about the sex stuff, because when you were talking about that, there's a lot of really, really young guys in their early 20s who are like, that sounds like heaven. Having sex with all these women, that sounds great. And there's a community, it's the RedPill, right? I don't know if you've heard of it, the whole RedPill type of ideology, but those men generally look at the ability for just men to sleep with multiple women as an ideal. Like, even if you become a high value man, as they call it, meaning women want you, you have a high net worth, whatever, at that point, yeah, you can have a woman and a family, but since you're such a high value man and women want you, you should be able to sleep with kind of as many women as you want, even though you have somebody at home. Now, it's just interesting how you were, you did all the things that these men want to be able to do, and you were also rich at the time, right? But you now, on the other side, at 48 years old, you have a loving wife, a family. All that copious sex, at least from what it looks like, doesn't seem to be a focus of yours or something that you're seeking. But a lot of young men, hearing the young you, they're like, I want that. So how would you kind of like look at your life now, and what would your message be to those guys? Because that's what a lot of guys are looking for. That's what a lot of guys want.
So rather than sharing what my message would be, let me message Napoleon Hill and his conversation with the devil in Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill's best book, written in 1938, published in 2011, because the book was so edgy that his estate was like, every person in the Hill genealogy has to die before this book gets published. So while everyone thinks his other book,
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich, was his first book, it was actually Outwitting the Devil. It's just, it was so extreme. He's literally having a conversation with the devil. And if you're going to read Outwitting the Devil, you should do yourself a favor and download the audio and listen to it, because Napoleon and the devil's voice are very different. And you hear the bellowing voice of the devil. And I will tell you the truth if only you address me as Your Highness. He goes, okay, Your Highness. So how do you control the thoughts of man? Well, and so there's a couple times where he goes, so devil, he goes, I said Your Highness. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Highness. And so it's just really like cool banter between Napoleon Hill and the devil. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I've read that book, listened to that book 19 times now. The only other book I've listened to so much is The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. But he talks about the drifter. In life, as men, we must either have definitiveness of purpose or we will drift through life trying to attach our belly button, our umbilical cord to everybody's belly button. So all these young men that are drifting through life and trying to attach their umbilical cord to the belly button of Andrew Tate and any other dude who, nothing wrong with Andrew Tate. I think he's a marketing fucking genius.
Oh, yeah.
He has so many brilliant things to say. However, the devil will tell you that the drifter drifts for these three reasons.
Power Project fam, this episode is brought to you by Vivo Barefoot Shoes. We've been wearing these shoes for almost a year now. They're flexible. They have a wide toe box. They allow your feet to get connected to the ground, and they will make your feet stronger, and they don't look like shit like a lot of these other barefoot shoes. Andrew, how can they get them?
For the best barefoot shoes on the planet, and they also look really, really good, head over to vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. At checkout, enter promo code PowerProject20 to save 20% off. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, promo code PowerProject20 to save 20% off. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. Let's go ahead and get back to this podcast.
Overconsumption of food. When we overconsume food, our body is unable to, he says, process all that food, and therefore it has to create poison, and that poison has to show up in our comes out. Some of it is feces and urine, but others it goes into our system. This man is writing this in 1938.
It causes toxicity, yeah.
Causes toxicity and shows up in your bile, into your blood, right? And it's so fucking true. Like what we have studied today, he predicted back then. Overconsumption of food, overconsumption of sex. Overconsumption of sex, because it will lose. Sex is a very powerful drawing thing. However, a man can get consumed by it so much that he will lose his focus on his definitiveness of purpose. And in the absence of purpose, a man will dig holes in his life, no different than a German shepherd will dig holes in your backyard when it doesn't have a routine, when it doesn't have a sense of purpose, and you're not playing catch with it every day at the same time. I've got a German shepherd. I know her name is Cookie. And so a man will dig holes in his life through infidelity, stress, anxiety, pornography, drugs, alcohol, vape pens, all these things, all these vices that control you when you are oversexed. Sex, just like a cocktail, you've got to have it as a reward. And you wouldn't just, at least I would hope that you wouldn't just drink anything. Like, I guess when I was younger, I was drinking Natty Lights because they were cheap. Speaking of Natty, did you hear that Michael Hearn is all natural?
He's going to be here tomorrow. We can talk to him.
Yeah, that's right. Please let him know. But today, if I'm gonna have a cocktail, man, I'm gonna have Chopin vodka with like real fresh squeezed pineapple juice. I'll have one cocktail, maybe two if I'm feeling saucy, and that's it. That's it. I'm not gonna wake up with a hangover because it's fucking potato vodka. It's like the good shit. But I share that with you because oversexed, and I know this from firsthand experience, you just want more and more of it because it creates validation, creates approval, and then you lose track of what you're supposed to be doing, your definitiveness of purpose. And then when you're not fucking, you feel a sense of hollowness and emptiness. And that's where the anxiety, when there's a space in the man's heart of hollowness and emptiness, it is only filled by anxiety and depression in the absence of purpose. And so if you don't have purpose, and so it's overconsumption of food, overconsumption of sex, and then sharing your opinion when it's not asked for. When a man will constantly share his opinion when it is not asked for, he is seen as a weaker, attention-seeking, validation-needing man, and no man should be seen as that. So my opinion is it's unnecessary, and I speak from firsthand experience. And secondly, if our job of all men is to leave people better than we found them, and I really believe my job is to leave people better than I found them, I can tell you that there was one woman who 2 days after we had sex, killed herself. Not because of me, I don't think. She apparently grabbed her boyfriend's gun and killed herself. But I had no business fucking a woman that had a boyfriend, did I? So, just because you can and you're a high-valued man leaves people better than they found them. A high-valued man can control his consumption of everything. A high-valued man will live a life of definitiveness of purpose and not become a drifter who seeks to plug his umbilical cord into everybody else's belly button.
Yeah, I think sometimes not acting on stuff is a very powerful thing that a man can demonstrate. Somebody does get loud, somebody does get charged up, and you don't kick their ass because there's no threat, there's not a reason to, but you could, right? I think there's situations where it doesn't make sense to abuse that power, or high-powered men that will take advantage of their situation with women, and will take advantage of wherever they can. Take advantage wherever they can. And it's like, well, from what I've seen, I've always admired the guys that I think are showing the constraint. You're like, oh man, that girl's really sweating that guy, but he's I don't know what he's doing behind closed doors, but it's looking like he's keeping it together, and it looks like he's playing it cool.
And you respect that guy.
He's not putting out any vibes. No, not only do I respect him, those are my favorite people. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, same.
Hey guys, I've seen that you guys have been commenting about how much you hate the whispering outro, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe. So I'm going to whisper again because I know you don't like it. So hey, I know we're bringing you some good content. So like, comment, subscribe, and share it with some friends so we can all help each other out. And maybe I'll stop whispering in your ear. Bye.